Good morning or afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021-2022 IHL YAC National Symposium. We're so excited to have you all here today, and before we start, we just want to give a quick overview. The National Symposium is a chance for IHL Youth Action Campaign teams from all over the world to have an opportunity to present and share their group's findings and accomplishments from the past campaign season. We have some amazing presenters this year that will share about their team's campaign activities, accomplishments, and takeaways. After the presentations, we will have a quick Q&A session, followed up by an introduction of next year's annual theme for the Youth Action Campaign. We also have a fun Kahoot prepared to get everyone thinking about the upcoming season.
So again, we'd like to thank all of the group representatives for taking the time to present and share their successes here today. Now, before we start, let me give a quick rundown of the two of us who are your MCs. My name is Deshna. I'm from the Northern Ohio Central Atlantic region, and this is my first year being part of the IHL-YAC program.
And my name is Fiona, an IHL advocate from the Cascades region. I live in Portland, Oregon, and this is also my first year a part of this campaign. I'm so excited to hear about all the different campaigns that took place this year. And now with introductions out of the way, let's share our first speaker's presentation, which was sent as a video. Adithya Shankar is a rising senior who has been part of the Red Cross since 9th grade. Adithya shares that he has loved working together with his friends to conduct IHL events and learn about how IHL limits unnecessary suffering during times of war. We'll now play his presentation, and if at any point anyone can't hear the video, just please let me know.
Hello, my name is Adithya Shankar. I am a rising senior at Brookfield High School, and this past year, I have had the honor of leading my school's IHL Youth Action Campaign. First, I would like to credit all of my school's members of this campaign. I am grateful for all of their support, and our campaign would not have been possible without all of them. This year, we conducted an IHL lunch table event as well as social media posts. We set up lunch tables over 2 days in mid-March. To ensure that our event reached a large portion of our school community, we set up tables near the entrances of both of our school's eating areas. We hung posters and distributed brochures around the cafeterias explaining what IHL is and how it protects cultural property. This way, we were able to raise awareness about IHL and the preservation of cultural property, even among students who did not visit our lunch table. In addition to this event, we posted about IHL on social media, specifically Instagram. On our Instagram stories, we posted about what IHL is and this year's topic of protecting cultural property. Via our social media accounts, we were able to have even greater mobility in informing communities additional to ours about IHL. Our lunch tables across the 2 days obtained a total of 216 views and 110 interactions. For our social media results, our first post obtained a total of 836 views. Our second post obtained a total of 463 views. Over our entire IHL campaign, we achieved 1,515 views and 110 interactions. This year was the first year since the start of the pandemic that all students at our school were in person. So we are glad that we were able to safely hold an in-person event. However, an obstacle we encountered during our lunch table event was running out of supplies. We anticipated only needing 40 brochures to last the entire event, but we ran out of all our brochures during the first day itself. The lack of brochures hampered our dissemination of IHL information to our fellow students, so we made sure to print out 100 more brochures for the next day. Although we ended with surplus brochures, we were able to ensure that all interested students and faculty were able to learn about IHL and its mission. Thus, we gained the insight that we should keep lots of extra supplies in stock, and that despite the pandemic, we could still hold a safe and successful in-person event to educate our school about IHL. Thank you. Hello,
Alrighty, so
my name
thank you to Adithya for sending in a video for presenting despite not being here with us today. So next up we have Akash Sugender from Arizona. Akash is a rising senior from Basis Chandler High School who has used the IHL program to build communication and leadership skills while educating the community with his team. Without further ado, I'll be passing off the mic to Akash.
Hi everyone, my name is Akash Sugender and I am a rising senior at Basis Chandler High School in Chandler, Arizona. And I'm bringing to you today a little presentation about the Basis Chandler IHL Committee and what we've accomplished in the 2021 to 2022 school year in the Arizona New Mexico region. So without further ado, let's get straight into our events. So we held a total of 4 in-person events last year, all centered around the theme of cultural property. Our first event, as you can see in the bottom right, was a presentation plus an obstacle course. The presentation was about IHL and its tenets as well as cultural property, and this was followed up by an obstacle course in which members of the audience participated by dribbling a basketball through various obstacles marked with cultural property emblems, and they tried to complete this obstacle course in the fastest time possible. And if they hit the obstacles in the obstacle course marked by cultural property, 30 seconds was added to their time. So their goal was to act as a military combatant and put themselves in a real-life situation. This is a great way to engage with the content with our audience and also get them to be excited about this project. The second event was a presentation plus a trivia game. This was a presentation about IHL and similar principles and tenets, and this was followed up by a Kahoot trivia game which the entire audience was able to participate and compete for a gift card prize. Our third event was a presentation and a relay race in which it was similar to our obstacle course event in that it had basketball, and each member of a team was stationed around the basketball court in certain areas to take a shot. And before they were able to take that basketball shot, they had to answer a question about IHL right. And once they answered this question right, they shot the shot, and the team with the fastest time won some Red Cross merchandise and some pens. And our last event was a presentation plus a trivia game as well. So as you can see in the top right, this was at the end of the year with our trivia game, and we were able to hand out donuts to all the participants that were able to play the game with us. And this is a great way of encouraging them to come back to our events next year, as well as just get them excited about the IHL program. So now a little bit about our social media campaign. On the left, we have a non-engaging graphic. So we were able to post these on our Instagram story, and these were just fun facts about IHL and just general educational facts in which the audience did not have to interact with the content, but they were able to just view it. And on the right, we had an engaging graphic, which the audience did have to interact with, and it was a same thing on our Instagram story, except it was an Instagram poll in which they had to choose one of the answer choices in the poll as the correct answer choice, and they could see if they got the answer right or not on the next slide, in which the correct answer choice was displayed, plus the explanation of why that answer choice was correct. So now our final campaign statistics, we were able to garner 5,682 views and 1,138 engagements, and the total number of posts plus our events was 51. So our views and engagements also included in-person views and engagements plus our social media views and engagements. So as you can see, this is a very big number, and I'm very, very proud of our IHL committee and our community for coming together around this IHL YAC program and really engaging with our content. So the most impactful lesson I learned was how easy it is to make an impact. We all went into this year with our committee thinking that it would be very, very difficult to get people to come to our events, advertise them, view our posts. However, it was very, very easy once we actually got started. We realized that very early on, if we put in some effort and targeted the right parts of our community, we were able to make a very, very profound impact in such a small amount of time. And once others saw us making this impact and striving to better our community, they also followed in their lead and were inspired to do the same and even participate in this IHL YAC program. So thank you all so much for listening to me today talk about my campaign and all the stuff that the Basis Chandler IHL committee has accomplished this year. And anyone interested in the IHL YAC program, I highly, highly recommend you join the program next year. It's a very, very rewarding experience and a very good opportunity to better your community and build your communication and leadership skills. Thank you all so much for listening to me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Akash. That was a great presentation, and there were some really unique events and games that his campaign included. And next up, we have a group from Georgia, and Vita and Sonia, who have managed to keep up continuously impressive campaigns with a team of 2 that they have. So they have another video, and thank you for sending this in.
I'm Adithya Shankar.
And hello, I'm Sonia Prabhakar.
This is our Ihl Campaign Testimony
and our thoughts and conclusions.
For this campaign, we created the slogan, "Humanity Deserves Preservation," as the backbone of our advocacy.
We launched our IHL Instagram page where we posted about cultural preservation, IHL, and fun facts about the rules of war. Our account grew to have over 30 followers, many views on our Instagram stories, and likes and interactions on our countless posts.
Along with our Instagram, we created an IHL website and interactive games to inform people about the cause. We decided to make the website on Google Sites to make it easy and interactive for viewers. We included the principles of IHL, a Kahoot, and a slide about our team on the website. We linked it in our Instagram bio to gain attraction.
Our takeaways throughout the campaign: we faced many challenges, yet also many successes. Some challenges we faced were not having enough time to run our campaigns to the amount of months we took preparing for our launch. We also did not have enough participation in our events and social media.
Our successes, however, were that we utilized all the time we had to create a big impact. We taught over 50 kids firsthand about the preservation of cultural property while creating engaging activities and original posts regularly.
Our campaign lasted around a month based on our timeline.
We launched on March 20th of 2022.
We started our Instagram just a day later and started posting regularly on cultural preservation.
We also hosted a workshop at our school teaching HOSA members about the Red Cross, IHL, and cultural preservation with fun and interactive games such as word scrambles and Kahoots on March 29th of 2022.
On April 12th, we launched our website to inform people about cultural preservation.
With everything we did, we filmed our campaign summary video on April 14th and submitted it on April 15th of 2022.
Thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to spread awareness about IHL and cultural preservation.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so definitely an impressive campaign put up by the Georgia team. Next up, Arisha Mohidin from the Northern Nevada region will be presenting. Arisha has gotten interested in IHL through the Red Cross Club at Coral Academy High School, which introduced the concept of IHL in a fitting manner as a great opportunity for a volunteering experience and more. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Alicia Mahideen, one of the team leads of our IHL campaign at Coral Academy Red Cross Club in Northern Nevada. So our small club, through multiple events and activities, was able to teach our audiences about the preservation of cultural property and the role of international humanitarian law. Okay, next. Throughout the campaign, we hosted 6 events and activities, each being a little different from the previous. I would say our ideas were pretty creative, from hosting an escape room to creating a short film. In between, we had an art competition, a survey raffle, and activity booklets, each event using different methods to appeal to certain populations and audiences. Here are some of the pictures we took along the way of our team, art competition submissions, the gift basket participants could have won if they filled the survey, and the activity booklet. And then we also have stats gathered from our engagement. Next. Overall, I think our IHL campaign was quite successful. We had a majority positive outcome, getting more engagements than we originally expected for each event. The only activity that we fell short meeting our goal was on the soldier game activity. We missed the goal by only 4 people, as the goal was 30 participants, and we achieved 26 due to the lack of time. Next. Okay, now there were many obstacles faced during our campaign. The biggest obstacles were not having enough participants and the struggle to reach a wide audience. To solve the problems, we gave participants incentives such as extra credit in classes, awards in the art competition, and prizes like the gift basket for winning the survey raffle, and a gift card for winning the escape room. We also publicized more and tried to spread the word through social media platforms and school announcements and posters. Another problem we faced was a fund problem, so we fundraised through lunch sales and school drives. As our first team, this was our first time participating in IHL, so we did make a few mistakes and we learned a few lessons. Our team learned that collaboration is important and that we need to come up with a solid and strict timeline. We should also continuously revise our plans and learn from our previous mistakes. Okay, another thing we learned was to maximize our publicity efforts earlier on in the campaign rather than at the end and cramming everything together. Learning from previous mistakes is obviously really important. So if we host another IHL campaign for the coming year, we will surely learn from our previous mistakes and do things differently. Thank you.
Awesome, Marisha. Love to see progress upon your campaign. Up next, we have our Southeastern Caribbean region group, consisting of Arushi, Hansita, and Harshita, here to present their team's success. The 3 of them were introduced to the unique opportunity of the IHL YAC program from another school club and took that chance to learn more about international humanitarian law and its crucial role in our society. Welcome, ladies. The floor is yours.
Hey, everyone. I'm Harshita.
I'm Hansita.
And I'm Urushi. We are Humanity Exists Everywhere. Next slide, please. We created 3 different platforms for our campaign: an Instagram account, a YouTube channel, and a website. In total, we reached approximately 400 people. We have displayed some statistics on our screen. We tried to keep our platforms as interactive as possible, which included us hosting an Ask Us Anything on our Instagram account. Our 2 main virtual events were a Harry Potter movie night and a virtual escape room. We planned a movie night and discussion where viewers analyzed how IHL was violated during the Second Wizarding War. We also created a virtual escape room where participants learned about different aspects of IHL as they escaped. Last but not least, we incorporated an in-person component into our campaign. We presented to our classmates and made personal connections with them while informing them about IHL and cultural property.
Next slide, please. Like all teams, we faced issues of our own. We found that coordinating our schedule was a pretty tedious and often formidable task. Led us to talking about our IHL campaign at late nights or in times of transit. COVID-19 was also a factor that restricted the amount of in-person events we could hold. And in addition to that, we found finding outreach was very difficult as all 3 of us were freshmen and all of us were going to a new school.
So these were some of the challenges we faced, but we came up with creative solutions to combat the mentioned issues. We held weekly meetings every Sundays at 10 a.m. to plan out the next phase of our campaign, as well as discuss any individual issues we faced. In addition, we resorted to a social media-based campaign to maximize our outreach and spread the message of IHL to as many people as possible. Before I finish, on behalf of myself and my team, I would like to say thank you so much to our IHL YAC coordinator, Ms. Sadipo. Thank you so much for everything you've done, how much you've helped, and how you've been there for us every step of the way. To everyone listening, I hope you gained a little something from our presentation. Have a great day.
Thank you guys. That was a wonderful presentation, and we loved how you show your progress and how you solved certain problems that you guys faced. Now, before we move on, I just want to mention that if anyone has any questions for any of the presenters or just IHL in general, you can use the Q&A feature and we'll get to it near the end of the presentations. Up next, we have Arya from the Northern New Jersey region, who shares that she has volunteered with Red Cross for 4 years now. We're excited to have you and welcome, Arya.
So hi guys, I'm Arya Patel. I'm one of the youth advocates, and my high school, Parsippany High School, participated in the IHL youth program. Next slide, please. So we had 3 advocates on my team. First, it was me, second was Serena, and third was Lithra, which I don't have a photo of. And so the activities held this year were like 7 activities in total. We broke that down into 3 events and 4 activities. So the 3 events were 2 truths and a lie. So basically we didn't want to like do the same old Kahoot type of style. So basically we turned the game 2 truths and a lie into a trivia type of style. And the thanks for playing, that's the photo of the trivia, like slides and stuff, like all the slides in red. And we had a guest speaker that showed up, like Anush. She's the regional coordinator for the IHL Youth Campaign. She's on the photo to the left. And we also hosted a movie night, which was Hunger Games. And we also publicized the annual IHL essay and art competition. And also the members made infographic posters about IHL and what they learned throughout the school year. And also we gave the members an IHL quizzes, so they can also tell us what they gained from throughout the school year. And we also spread awareness about the Ukraine conflict because not many of our members knew what exactly was happening. So basically they took notes on the Ukraine article that a Red Cross member provided us. And the stats for our campaign were, we had 3 advocates on my team. We reached 464 people. We held 3 events and 4 activities. Thank you.
Alrighty, that was a great job. Seeing the photos really helped see how much outreach and interest you guys had in your campaigns, and I loved how many different activities you had as well. So going on, we had a team from the Inland Northwest region with our main presenter here today, who is Kara. She has worked with various different parts of the Red Cross, such as the PNW Biomedical Services, Disaster Cycle Series, and of course the IHL YAC program. Thank you for being here, Kara. The stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kara Elsie, and I'm so excited to tell you about the Yakima Youth IHL Youth Action Team. This team was made up of me, I was the team leader, and Josh and Lizzie, who are both YAC advocates from the Northwest region, but unfortunately they were not able to be here today. Next slide, please. On the screen, you can see examples of work that we did for our campaigns. The Yakima Youth IHL team created a cohesive campaign focused on public education of international humanitarian law, how IHL relates to the preservation of cultural property, as well as how it relates to current world events. Our main focus was on bringing awareness to what IHL is within rural Yakima. As the campaign went on, we were able to tie in current events to show real-life examples of when IHL is applicable and why it is an important topic to understand. Although there were only 3 of us working on this campaign, we were able to leverage each of our strengths to create an effective campaign. Each of us took initiative in areas where we were strong and collaborated to create the best presentations and activities that we could. We worked hard to create PowerPoint, set up marketing for our events, work with local businesses to promote our events, coordinated with the staff of the Yakima Red Cross building, engaged in creative activities and giveaways, and curated Instagram posts and stories. Next slide, please. Here is more examples of work from our campaign, and on the far left you can see the poster that we created that we sent out to local businesses to put up that had all of the dates of the events that we were doing and a QR code that would take them to our Instagram. We quickly found that hands-on activities and games which incorporated the principles of IHL were our most successful events. What we really wanted to impart onto people was that war is going to have casualties, but IHL helps to contain and create rules that lessen the damage of war. The principles of international humanitarian law help to limit unnecessary death and the unnecessary destruction of civilian objects, specifically cultural property. Last slide, please. Just a big thank you to everyone who came to listen to our presentations today.
Awesome job. The infographics were super detailed and interesting, and I especially liked how much color you used in between all your different posts, so good job. And next up, we have Devaki Ghosh from the Southeast and Caribbean Division. Devaki is a current rising sophomore who got introduced from a club fair at her school that had different workshops and, of course, the IHL program itself. Passing the mic on to you, Devaki, so start when you're ready.
Greetings, my name is Devaki Ghosh. I'm a high school sophomore, and I'm an advocate of the Southeast and Caribbean Division of Red Cross, specifically in the island of Puerto Rico, where there are approximately 1,000 volunteers out of 2,708,183 people. Today, I'm here to talk about my experience and involvement with the International Humanitarian Law, IHL, Youth Action Campaign, YAC project. Next slide, please. This is what I have done for the IHL and Youth Action Campaign. At first, me and my IHL team did IHL meetings where we discussed our plans for the IHL project. During the first weeks of the IHL meetings, the advisor of my IHL team gave us a workshop on what is IHL and its importance. On Saturday, February 26, 2022, me and my IHL team had a tour of Botanical Garden in Old San Juan. In this tour, we explored the cultural properties and its importance in terms of IHL and protecting cultural property. When I was at the Botanical Garden, I earned badges for participation and involvement in the IHL Youth Action Campaign project. On Wednesday, March 30 and Thursday, March 31, 2022, me and my IHL team did IHL presentations to 8th and 12th grade history students. We presented to 8th and 12th grade history students since the 8th graders were taking civics while the 12th graders were taking Puerto Rican history. And those branches of history had to do more with the IHL. And just after we did the IHL presentations, we did a Kahoot to see whether the students learned about the IHL or not after the presentation. On Friday, March 25, 2022, during the evening, we had an outdoor movie night of the movie Monument Man. In this activity, we watched a movie called The Monument Man. We watched Monument Man because it had to do with the IHL in the sense that the Nazis stole artistic works. In other words, they violated the International Humanitarian Law in terms of cultural property protection. And while we were watching the movie, the advisor showed us the most important scenes of the Monument Man, which had to do more with the IHL. Next slide, please. On May 4, 2022, I wrote and published an IHL essay. I started to write the essay a few weeks before publishing it. And the name of the essay was called The International Humanitarian Law and Cultural Property, Harm of Cultural Property and Humanitarian Crisis in Afghanistan. This IHL essay had to do with the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan, specifically in terms of protecting cultural property. Also, in Globedia, I published an essay which is also related to the International Humanitarian Law. It was called War in Afghanistan, One of the Most Troubling Impacts of Afghanistan, Worsening Food Crisis and Food Insecurity from the Viewpoint of Health and Nutrition. And some of the lessons I learned in the IHL Youth Action Campaign project were how to communicate more effectively during teamwork. I developed stronger leadership and public speaking skills. I wrote an essay in a more concise way. And there is a very important lesson that I learned about the IHL. And the lesson is that it is important to be very aware of the International Humanitarian Law, because that law is important for our society. And the creative solutions that me and my IHL team came up with were creating more awareness of the International Humanitarian Law through IHL presentations and publication of IHL essays, including mine. And we learned, and we did a solution that the history of the cultural site can have an influence on the protection of cultural properties, especially when a humanitarian crisis is going on. Next slide, please. Thank you all. Any questions?
We can take a pause for questions, but if nobody has any, we can get back to them at the end. But thank you for presenting. That was really creative. I loved that you had an essay that you wrote and published at your school. And next, we have Lily Lee from the ENC Chapter Club from North Carolina, here to share her campaign events and overview. Lily has been part of the Red Cross since December of 2021 and has used IHL to better understand the Red Cross mission and meet new friends. Welcome, Lily, and let's see what you have.
Hi everyone, I'm Lily. I'm from the Eastern North Carolina Chapter Club and also part of the Southeast Caribbean region. So our team coordinator is Alyssa Sika, and I'm part of the team members of our chapter club. Next slide, please. So our team consists of 3 teams, and then each team are responsible for an event, such as bingo night, movie night, and Jeopardy night. So in each event, we have session presentations to educate other youth and attendees about IHL. And we also have games and movies after that. And we engage with our attendees to better engage and then also let them know about IHL and then its importance. And also that our team meets each week to schedule and then plan for our events. And then it's also very interesting, and then it's a very memorable like memories for me and then also for my team members. And we mostly market and then reach out to the public through social media, such as Instagrams. So the posters and flyers on the slides are example of the flyers that we post in our Instagram account and also through our school clubs. And also we have in-person presentation in our schools to educate our classmates and peers about IHL. And also we go into our community and then also to spread the word and then to let others come and join like every events that we created. Next slide, please. So some lesson learned and campaign improvements that we gained throughout this progress and the building of campaigns are that we want to add more engagement opportunities for attendees, maybe more interaction between the presenters and attendees, and encourage more response into the chat, and also encourage more participants in games and then also movie nights, and more interactions, and then maybe include some case studies to give more like interactions between each person and also to like better know each other and get to know like our thoughts and ideas. And we also find out that is to pay attention to choosing dates, be aware of the event dates and avoid large events and holidays. And some takeaway from the campaign is that let me gain so many skills such as leadership, public speaking, and also teamwork. Next slide, please. Campaign achievements. So our campaign team have over 4,000 engagements through social media and in person, outreach presentation in school clubs for over 40%, and in-person campaign activities for 105% attend. Some success that we have throughout the campaign are that everyone have a very well presented presentations. Everyone gained knowledge about public speaking, and we also compare the pre-survey and post-survey, and it shows that our attendee gain a better understanding of IHL, and then they also have a better knowledge and its importance. And we also get many positive responses on the incorporation of games and movies. And so it really helped with engaging everyone and then to have fun while also learning like valuable knowledge. And we work as a collaborative team and we achieve our goal together. So it's like very important, and then it's also very rewarding. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome job, Lily. I love the different Jeopardy movie nights that you had, which have been probably really fun. But super cool. So next up, I would like to introduce Jose and Franco, representing the Puerto Rico region, as the speakers of their YAC group. They hope to share how educating, spreading awareness, and volunteering has allowed them to get super involved with this organization and, of course, IHL itself. Thank you so much for being here, Jose and Franco. So please start when you guys are ready.
Greetings, my name is Jose Juan Dalmau Rosario.
Hello, I am Franco Morales.
Today we're going to be presenting our Youth Action Campaign project for the International Humanitarian Law and Preservation of Cultural Property this year. I would also like to mention my fellow members of our team, Pitirres, and I'll go in an order from left to right. So the first one in the left is Loren Gonzalez. The second one is Susana Ortiz. The third one is Melissa Bracero. The fourth is Valeria Verdecia. Then it's me and Franco. Then Ari John Santos and Paola Conde. I would like to thank them for their extremely great work. And yeah, we can continue with the next slide. So what did our team do? We did an introduction to the definition of the importance of international humanitarian law and preservation of cultural property, with an educational game and presentation that we called Targetable or Safe. In that presentation and educational game, we did add some images of monuments, documents, and buildings that our peers had to choose between targetable or safe after they heard what was international humanitarian law and preservation of cultural property and the principles and all that. Then we made a visit to El Capitolio del Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico, which is Puerto Rico's Congress. And there we met with Senate President Jose Luis Dalmau Santiago and with the Sergeant at Arms, that is the officer that is in charge of every part of the Capitol security in the Senate part. And he talked with us about the importance of protecting that type of building that is very historical. And with the president of the Senate, we had the opportunity of talking about the lawmaking process. Then we visited La Fortaleza, which is the governor's executive mansion, and we had a tour where we visited the most important parts of that property that is protected by the United Nations. And our last activity was a mix of trivia questions, a Kahoot game, and an educational video presentation. Next slide, please.
The lessons we learned. We learned the definition, concept, and importance of international humanitarian law and preservation of cultural property. As future leaders of different fields like politics, medicine, or even engineering, these campaigns help us grow as individuals and collectively to create awareness and expose the importance of these subjects. A lesson that I personally learned and treasure is that the importance of adapting to any challenge that comes your way to create a quality product or project. And this is mainly because of the time restraint that my team faced. Next slide, please.
Challenges faced and creative solutions. So like Franco just mentioned, we had a timing challenge that even though we started at a later date, we had the opportunity and the discipline, the commitment to get up. We caught up and came up with efficient ideas for our activities. We made a plan, and we had to adapt to many other challenges we faced, but these are the main ones. The other one was monetary, where activities were held at no cost but had a huge impact on the youth of our school community, and the COVID-19 pandemic that impacted the whole world. and it was a barrier to present our project at other venues. But something I want to mention is that thanks to the great work and great teamwork we had, and our friendship helped us to create a great plan and follow it, so we could do a successful project.
Now, I want to read this quote on the bottom here. The team's name is Pitirres because our noble heart, faith, and desire of being successful and meeting our goals, even when adversity is huge. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, I would like to mention just only one thing, that's also, in addition to being our school logo, that's the real reason why we chose that name. And I would also like to thank the region coordinators, Ramonita Santiago, Rosita Criollo, and Ginette Gonzalez, who helped and met with us every week and sometimes every other day to check up on us and to be successful in this project. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Wow, that was really impressive. We loved how you were spreading awareness within the government and in your community. Next up, we have Miranda Suret as the speaker for Team Humphreys of the Asia Pacific region. Miranda has been a volunteer for 2 years and is sharing how being a region YAC coordinator has allowed her to have many opportunities of presenting on behalf of YAC. The floor is yours, Miranda.
Thank you again. As she said, my name is Miranda Suret, and I'm here to talk about the Team Humphreys High School Red Cross Club's IHL project from Pyeongtaek, South Korea. Before I get started, I first want to say a big thank you to our regional coordinator, Crystal Shooter, who was my co-host and my co-presenter for many of our IHL events, and she helped me and guided me as the IHL Youth Action Campaign coordinator for my region. Next slide, please. So this is just some statistics on the Humphreys High School Red Cross Club. We had 55 members in our Red Cross Club chapter, all of whom contributed to our IHL campaign in some way, whether that was attending an event or posting a flyer for an event. At the beginning of our IHL campaign, our goal was to hopefully reach 140 people, but at the end, with the combined total for all 3 of our IHL events, we reached a total of 170 people, which I'm very proud of because we surpassed our goal with the hard work and dedication of our team and those on the military base that helped us. For our November 2021 and December 2021 IHL event, we had a total of 119 people who attended. For our April 2022 IHL event, which we hosted both in person and virtual, we had a total of 51 people for both of those events. And as I said, we had a total of 3 themed IHL events for this year. Next slide, please. So the first event was our November 2021 event, and this went in line with the national headquarters Harry Potter and the Deathly Violations of IHL event, where we used scenes from Harry Potter movies and interactive questions on Mentimeter to teach the importance of IHL and protection of cultural property as it related to Harry Potter. Our December 2021 IHL Hot Chocolate event was in conjunction with another Red Cross Club event that we were doing, where we had set up a table outside of the PX on our military base, and we collected, along with collecting donations for a local orphanage, we handed out cups of hot chocolate to the military community on our base. Each hot chocolate cup had an international humanitarian fact on it, with the hopes that people would drink their coffee or drink their hot chocolate and read their IHL fact as they were shopping around the base. And our third and final event was the April 2022 Heroes Assemble IHL in the Marvel Universe, where we focused around the basics of international humanitarian law, and we used scenes from Marvel movies to teach not only Red Cross participants, but also the JROTC participants and other school participants about protection of cultural property. Next slide, please. So a couple of big takeaways were that one of the biggest takeaways from our IHL events is that not only people in our school were interested about Red Cross, but the local military members and soldiers were also eager to learn about IHL, and the communication and interest in our community was huge. And I think that's that's kind of an interesting thing on a military base, the amount of people that were part of our campaign. And then another big takeaway is that we had themed snacks at our event. So at our Heroes Assemble event, we had Thor's hammer themed cupcakes, and that got people more interested in learning about IHL basics, not only the common themes. So I want to say thank you to everybody for listening, and thank you to all of the military members on our base that helped us with our campaign.
Campaign. Those were some creative in-person activities, and again, I really like the hot chocolate event. So we finally caught up to our last speakers, who have been definitely waiting for some time. So I'd like to introduce that last but certainly not least, the East Bay California region team, consisting of Varsha Behera, Sanjana Prashant, Nikarika Nambier, and Lauren Lee are going to be presenting now. So passing the mic to you guys.
Well, hello, we are from East Bay, California. Unfortunately, 2 of our members cannot make it, but the rest of us is here. My name is Lauren.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Sanjana.
And I'm Varsha.
Next slide, please. So we planned and hosted 4 events in total, 2 of which were interactive. This included a case study about the history and destruction of the Al-Najashi's Mosque and a Choose Your Own Adventure game. We used various platforms for volunteer engagement, such as Nearpod, Kahoot, and Padlet. This enabled us to offer discussion questions, allow participants to draw out responses virtually, and answer fill-in-the-blank questions.
Therefore, we were able to gain a lot of participation due to our interactive activities. For example, the SpongeBob IHL Choose Your Own Adventure event displayed different scenarios with IHL principles, where the participants had multiple choices to choose from, which affected different endings. At the end, we were able to receive a total of 162 responses.
For social media, we stuck to a color theme of pink and green for all of our posts. Our posts included informative and story-related posts on the destruction of various cultural properties around the globe, both in the past and in the present. Next slide. So the lessons learned and the impacts our campaign has made. So the first thing to touch on would be events for lessons learned. So we learned quite early on that we should start advertising events 2 weeks plus in advance so we can garner a wider audience and so more people can join in. The second thing to touch on would be social media. We learned to utilize multiple platforms such as Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook for the future so that we can reach more people.
So including using more social media platforms, one that we already use is Instagram. So something that we learned that we want to improve on for the future is to incorporate more interactive stories and also create more informative content that are related to current events in IHL in general. And the last thing that we learned and that we want to improve on for the future is to create a more consistent schedule, especially with all the new social media that we want to use. It's important that we have a regular schedule to post more consistently so that we can gain a better following. And then on the right, you can see all of our impacts. So we had over 600 social media views, over 300 followers gained, and over 300 accounts reached. We had a total of 92 media engagements and 55 participants over the 4 events that we had this year. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for the presentations. It was really interesting to hear the different ways you guys spread IHL, and we love seeing the outcomes. Next up is the Q&A portion, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We'll be checking the Q&A box also. If no one has any questions, we can transition into our next topic.
If anyone thinks of like any questions afterwards, feel free to just like put in the chat or the Q&A, and then we'll make sure to still get to them.
So before we move on to the next activity, I would like to talk about the upcoming activity, the upcoming year's theme and its activity, the environment and conflict. Similar to the theme of cultural property protection, the environment itself also needs to be protected, especially during times of war. As we have reached the end of this year's campaign, starting about the upcoming year and how exactly the environment is protected. Certain questions that may arise may be as how or when can the environment be attacked? Is it classified as a military necessity or simply a link to further unnecessary suffering? How does the environment affect the civilians and other innocent lives around it? What's the rule with this destruction of habitats or ecosystems? Using these questions, it will allow everyone to understand and see how significant this topic of the environment being affected during wartime is for IHL. We thank you all for listening to this small introduction with us and can't wait to see what you guys do in the upcoming year's theme.
Before we get back to the scheduled plan, we do have a question from an anonymous person. The question is, how did you start one of these in your area, and who should I reach out to make or to participate in an IHL club? Does anyone know the participants want to answer that?
There is an answer from Miranda, in the Q&A feature. And she's definitely correct. You can reach out to your local Red Cross chapter in your area because they can help you start an IHL project and learn more about IHL.
Yeah, for like me, my school has like a thing where they put all the clubs and activities and volunteer things you can do, and I found it from there and volunteered.
I would also like to add on, a lot of schools have Red Cross clubs that you can join, and even if they don't do IHL, that's something you can start up pretty easily by reaching out to Red Cross chapter. Or if your club doesn't have a Red Cross club, you can also start that up, and it's something that I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add something else. Like some states I know it's different for every state, but like my state of New Jersey, for example, that we have a a state level youth council. So basically they promote like IHL too. So if you have a state council, you can also talk to them and they can tell you ways how you can get involved in.
Right.
Are there any more questions? Unless that's something you want to answer.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on that. If you don't know any place to start, then try to find like a regional coordinator or whatever that you can reach out to through email, and they'll help you get through training and get that whole process done. That's kind of the approach I had. So
so we do have another question from another anonymous person. It says, how do you find out which schools in your area have a Red Cross club? I would just ask, or like ask the school, usually it's one school does it and like it's in person, like in school. So like if you're from another school, I don't think they would let you join, but they may be open to it. So if there's no more questions, we're gonna move on to our next activity.
Cordelia, there's a great question in the chat from Pauline. Are you able to see that one?
Oh yeah. Was there anything that surprised you about IHL? I can actually go first. For me, it was really surprising, like how much IHL is involved in like everything with war. Like everything before has to be following like there's like general rules, and then there's like the overall IHL, and IHL is over like everything.
I definitely agree with that, and I think another thing is that if you're interested in starting an IHL campaign, there's a lot of good people who are willing to help you and reach out. So everyone that you work with is going to be very interested in helping you get through the process. So I really encourage anyone who hasn't or is interested, like, to really try it, because there's people always on every checkpoint helping you throughout.
If that is it, we're all good now? No more questions? Okay. So our next activity, we invite you all to play a Kahoot with us as we get ready for next year's upcoming topic on the impact of conflict has on the environment. So the code is up on the screen. So if you go to www.kahoot.it, you can join the game. There's also a QR code.
We'll wait like a couple minutes to let people join, and then we'll get started. While people are joining, we also got another question in the chat. Will we have a copy of the questionnaires that can be used for the 2022-2023 IHL campaign? So I believe you're referring to the new topic and the questions related to that. And in that case, once you create your campaign or your team, you'll get a training from Red Cross, and they'll give you a pretty detailed packet, and they'll give you a lot of good starting questions and a lot of good resources to get started with the new topic. So those questions will definitely be in there once you're registered and start your training.
Yeah, and I think Dashna can speak more on this because she's part of the graphic team. But every year, like there's a team that makes new graphics and new social media things for you guys to use.
Right, so there's another actual team throughout this campaigning process who created this social media toolkit, and we basically took past kind of just documents or whatever that kind of explain certain aspects of social media campaigning or questions to start out with and all. And anyone who's starting their campaign this year is going to get access to those as well. And there's a lot of resources, so just reach out to your regional coordinator or whoever. You can reach out to anyone and they can direct you to those through your Red Cross account, which you can access that.
I am gonna get the Kahoot started now, but if you haven't joined yet, you can still join while the game starts. The pin should still be on the top for you to see.
Climate change and the environment. So this is one of 15 questions. Our first question is, what is the percentage of non-international armed conflicts happened between 1950 and 2009 related to natural resources? So the answer is 40%. It seems like 31 people got that right, which is really good. And on to the next question. Who is currently on the top? So I can see we have Arishi as our top #1 right now. What are examples of climate change? Lewis, you respond on your phone. So as I did before, the game pin is at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. It is 4330932. Next question. The environment is not at risk from direct attacks or from the use of certain means and methods of warfare. You can also use your laptop. Just go on any browser and search up who done it. So most of you got that right. And back on top. Next question. What is the #1 cause of climate change? I will read slower. I apologize. True or false? Destruction of any part of natural environment is prohibited under IHL law. True or false? False. People living through conflicts frequently tell us about the massive environmental changes they are witnessing. Now this would be the citizens going through war. So this is true. During war, because of the current climate that we're in, people use bombs and things that can increase the amount of soot and soot in the atmosphere, which can create environmental changes. Which of the following may be used for military means in wars? Chemical weapons, biological weapons, or poisonous weapons, or none of the above. None of the above. All of these can hurt a mass amount of civilians, which is why they are not prohibited. %60% of the 20 countries most vulnerable and least ready to adapt to climate change are not affected by armed conflict. This is false. Which are the consequences of conflict in the environment? Internally displaced persons or migrants, wildlife loss and toxic remnants of war, deforestation, or all of the above. And the answer is all of the above. Most of you got that right, which is really good. How do we stop climate change? Now this is a very open-ended question, but the answers here are power your home with renewable energy, pull all the plugs, reduce water waste, and all of the above. Louis, that's totally okay. Sorry for the difficulties. I apologize. IHL protects the environment from widespread and severe damage. And the answer here was false. Wait, was that true? I don't know. Is that correct?
That might be a typo.
Yeah, that might be a typo, because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. We apologize. Climate change directly causes conflict. And that is false. Conflict can be caused by many different things, not just climate change. How does climate change mixed with conflict affect the people? Tension around land use and water, food insecurity among the people, increased violence at the local level, all of the above. Scarce water sources can't be used as a weapon against the enemy. True. This is depriving people of their needs and like things they need to survive, so it's obviously illegal. How is climate change affecting people? Increased air quality, decreased air quality, less extreme weather, more wildfires. The answer was decreased air quality. I think that green is also a correct answer, but decreased air quality does affect. Well, actually, wildfires do cause a decreased air quality, so. And who are our winners? In third place, we have JBot. Second place, we have T. In first place, we have Vanessa. Congrats, guys.
Alrighty, so now it is time to start the conclusion. So basically, before we let you guys go, we'd like to express our thanks to everyone who has participated in this year's symposium. I'd first like to thank my fellow team leads, as we've been working all month together on the back end for planning out this event and sending all those emails. And next, a big thank you to Larissa, Thomas, and Nate, who have always been checking in with the team leads and I, and making sure we have the resources and help to organize this event. And finally, of course, to all of our presenters. You guys have brought this event to life, so most importantly, we all thank each of you for your enthusiasm to present and share your success this year. The group was quite big, but all your presentations helped us gave us insight on the diverse plethora of ideas and creativity from different regions. Fiona and I have been super grateful for this opportunity to be your MCs today, and we really hope to see every one of you again next year. Make sure to stay tuned for a participation certificate that will be sent out later to our speakers.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any last minute questions, you can ask, but thank you.